Hello, everyone, and welcome to Snap Take. This is Glazer of Snap Judgments, the official podcast of Marvel Snap Zone. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the decks I used to hit Infinite this season with an absolutely insane win rate. We've seen one of these decks before, so instead of 4 new decks, we're going to take a look at 5 brand new decks. The first deck we're going to look at is Stinky Smooth Screen. This is the deck that I actually used to get over the threshold. The deck I used when I was on my phone and wasn't playing for stats, I used on my way to Infinite. I didn't have a huge sample with this, but this one felt incredibly good. It's also a descendant of the deck that I had my highest win rate with last season, according to the stats that Marvel Snap sent me. So this is Stinky Smooth with Scream. I basically took a previously existing list that I already had, and I put in Scream and I put in Polaris. In exchange, I took out Cosmo, which is very good, but not a required card. Cosmo is a cube stealer, but not amazing. And I took out Valentina, which is, again, a good card that occasionally wins games and occasionally does absolutely nothing. My theory here being that if Scream is fundamentally triggers once, it's a 2/6. That's likely as good as Valentina in most games, and if I can get the 2 triggers, I have a 2/10, and I'm very, very likely to win. Plus, I'm getting the extra hazmat bonus from it. All right, you can find YoWoodyMJ at twitch.tv/YoWoodyMJ. Woody made the original version of this list. At this point, I think I have to give it to him as the most influential deck builder in Marvel Snap. A lot of meta stuff comes from him. He's been in the top 10 for every season of the last absolute ton. Won the most recent SnapCon tournament. Phenomenal player. So this deck needs Man-Thing, US Agent, Ajax, and Silk. That's 4 high series cards, but at least 1 is series 4. Ajax is absolutely key. So is Man-Thing. You can maybe try without US Agent and maybe try without Silk. The deck will be so much worse. But without Ajax and Man-Thing, you're shooting blanks here. Hydra Bob and Sable are good but not required. Nightcrawler and Shadow King are perfectly fine. In fact, we're going to take a look at the version that Big Baby played into the top 5. I believe he finished 5th on the Infinite leaderboard, and this was the main deck that he finished the season with that ran Shadow King. Again, we will take a look at that momentarily. I'd like to find a spot for Juggernaut here, especially as long as I happen to be keeping whatchamacallit in the deck, as long as there's a Scream. That's the name of the new card. If you don't have Scream, this version is just better than the Scream version, to be perfectly honest. It's got Cosmo and Valentina and Shadow King, and it's just, like, again, straight up a better deck. You will get a bajillion cubes from this. The highest win rate I had last season was this deck, and I could tell because Silk was my highest win rate card. This is the only deck that I ran Silk in, which means that, hey, 1 + 1 equals I crushed with this list. All right, so I went around 8-1, and this got me over the hump for Infinite. My one loss was a 4-cuber that was a random Where Does Hydra Bob Go? That I lost when I was 99.9. I went down to 95, and then I won an 8-cuber immediately to go over. I went from 98 to 100 with this, 98.1 to 100 with this, and I played this a little bit around the early 70s. So turn 1, you want to play Silver Sable over Bob. Turn 2 is Scream, more or less equal to Silk, depending what your hand is. If you're going to go Spidey or Polaris, you drop Scream. If you're not, you drop Silk. US Agent is perfectly fine rather than pass. Turn 3, Luke or Spidey Polaris. Turn 4, Man-Thing is generally speaking your priority, and that's better than a 3 and Miles, although if you have Scream out, a 3 and Miles is a quite strong play at this point. Turn 5, Ajax or 2+1 plus Hazmat, and I prefer to 2+1 plus Hazmat completely transparently. Like, if I can go Silk and Hazmat and then another 2, I'm pretty happy. Silk and Hazmat and Bob, I'm pretty happy, and I can control when I play the Hazmat, so I get the extra bonus. It's pretty easy to throw priority to that point, so you get all of their cards that are revealing. And then at the end of the game, you go either Ajax and 1 or the Hazmat Man-Thing, Hazmat US Agent and 1. And then you win. Right? Like, Ajax is often like 20 power. This does not work against Hela, but it beats everything else. Ajax is often 20-something power. Man-Thing just basically takes over a lane of cheap things all by himself, sitting there being a 411, 413, and then you've got Luke, so you're not taking any downside. So, and then you win. It's super, super strong. This is an 8-cube printing machine. Please do try this list, especially if you're not Infinite yet. But even in Infinite, this works. Again, my highest win rate in top 10% Infinite. I play in top 10% Infinite. My highest win rate deck last season was basically this. Right after this, we're going to talk about the deck that I had a 74% win rate with on my way to infinite. But one last look at this beauty of a deck. Quite venomized, which is the other reason I added Scream, because we've got venomized Man-Thing, venomized Ajax, venomized Hydra Bob, and Scream, and I can run venomized Silk in it. But I bought this new Peach Momoko Silk, and it's so beautiful, I felt like I had to run it. Hey, if you're willing, if you like exclusive decks, if you enjoy this content, please hit that sub button. I think giving you at least 4 decks every single weekday makes it worth a sub, but maybe you disagree. If you do like getting the new decks in Marvel Snap faster than anyone else can give them to you, please hit that sub button. We're trying to hit 15,000 subs by the end of the year. Help us reach our goal. Liking and commenting helps because it tells the YouTube algorithm to show us to more people, which means more subs. So if you're willing, please check it out. Also, we are giving away we gave away already, I think, 11 season passes. We're giving away one more Agent Venom this week, and then another next week, and another the week after. So if you're looking for Agent Venom, you have to sub, and then like, and then sometime this video, I'm going to ask a question. You comment answering that question, you're entered to win a season pass. One video this week, that will carry that season pass. Make sure you leave a comment if you're looking for Agent Venom. All right, Woody Bounce, we talked about this list. I told you we talked about this list on Wednesday, and then on Friday, I told you this was the best deck in the game. Well, I used it for 74% win rate on my way to infinite. It's still one of the best decks in the game. This list is through the roof powerful. I've been undefeated in infinite thus far with it, and again, I'm rank. I think I'm ranked mid 300s last I checked. I haven't actually loaded up Marvel Snap yet today, but when I went to bed, I was like 380 or something. All right, so you can find Gnome, who created this deck, at twitch.tv/GnomePlays. I know it said Woody made it, but it's a Gnome deck. You need Black Swan and either Sage or Monkey. If you don't have Sage or Monkey, that could be Werewolf. Some people also run Werewolf from that Bishop spot. Silver Sable and Nico can be Iceman, Spider-Ham, or Hawkeye, and Agent Venom can be Bast. All of those are major changes. Agent Venom in particular is a snap condition, and thus losing him hurts. So I went 43 and 15, which is a 74.1% win rate, and won 102 cubes. Please note, you can find these games. You'd have to ask Fazzer. Hop onto Fazzer's streams. He has a VOD with me playing from about 93 to 98 with him on this list, and basically winning 1-2 cubes at a time as everyone just ran immediately from my snaps. It was very frustrating, but this list is crazy good. Turn 1, you want Sable over Hood. Turn 2, you want Agent Venom, which is a snap, and Black Swan, which is a potential later snap when you see what you have and what you're dealing with. Turn 3 is Bishop over a bounce, a first bounce, and you only really bounce on turn 3 if you have 2 bounces. If you don't have Black Swan, you definitely do not Bishop on 3, because you want to save your Bishop for 5 and if you don't see Swan. Turn 4 is your last Swan chance, so play Swan over literally anything in the game, and you generally play that with either 1s or Falcon. You can play that with 1s and then Falcon on 5 just fine, trigger your Black Swan and have him free. If you didn't see Swan, you really want to Beast on 5, but sometimes you'll just play Sage. You will also sometimes play Sage on 4 if you got Swan out on 2, knowing that you can Beast that Sage back on 5 and then have a 2-cost Sage for turn 6, which is insanely good. Then turn 6 you go off with Mysterian Monkey, free 1s, and Monkey Sage. There's one more play that I find myself making a reasonable amount of the time. Sometimes you go Mysterio Monkey on 5, knowing that you have Sage and free 1s on 6. It's not as good, but it is a play that you can make if you're worried about Alith. And that's how you win. So after this, we're going to look at the not so secret deck. This one has been all over the place, but it was originally a secret deck. This is, again, my pick for the best easy to play deck in Marvel Snap right now. This is as easy as Bounce has ever been because it puts up so much power. Get some practice with this before whatever the name of the card is that comes out. Not Agony, not Scream. I don't know these stupid symbiotes. There's a symbiote that's a 2/1 that bounces and gets +2 power for each card it's bounced. Before that one, you should practice with this list. Hey, if you want to see gameplay from these lists, please check out the stream team. Today is Monday, so it is Gregor Day. Happy Gregor Day. Gregor2424 will be streaming at about noon Eastern. He will play these decks, tell you what he thinks of them. Check it out. He'll also have a YouTube video of these lists, letting everyone know on Tuesday morning how good he thinks they are. Then, if you're interested, Obihaved on his YouTube has a video up of yesterday's list. Yesterday, we covered the top 5 decks of last season's Infinite Leaderboard and my predictions for the top 5 decks of this season. Cool. All right. Splat's secret deck. Everyone's been talking about this. Husky played it, and then TLSG made a video on it, and this deck has been everywhere. It's not as good if it's not a huge surprise, but this list is awesome if you are playing in a place where no one expects it, including pre-infinite. This looks like a giant nonsense pile of cards. It's insanely good. You can Splat made it via twitch.tv/huskypuppies35. Husky's awesome. This deck needs Hitmonkey and Blink. Gladiator can be Crystal or whatever 3 you want, honestly. And Sage can be Wolfsbane, which I know because someone hit Infinite with Sage as Wolfsbane in the list. Alright, so turn 1 you pass, turn 2 you pass, turn 3 you play Wave, and after Wave you want to Onslaught. Good. If you have Sarah in hand, you're going to blink over Sarahing because you want to, because the only other highs card will be Onslaught, and then you can Sarah into Onslaught. That's basically your logic. If not, you play Wave. If not, you play Strong Guy. Onslaught is better than Blink, is better than Sarah, if Wave, generally speaking. If you have Magic, you just play Strong Guy in a naked lane because you want to be able to Onslaught that Strong Guy. Turn 5 is Sarah or Blink, and remember you're trying to Sarah the same lane as Strong Guy, the same lane for Onslaught. Blink will get you Onslaught or Sarah. Turn 6, if you haven't got Onslaught out, this is your Onslaught turn. You play it on Sarah and Strong Guy. If you already have Sarah and Onslaught out, you just play all the 3s for 1 and finish with Surfer. You can play, your 3s go down to 1 cost, right? If you Onslaught Sarah, which means Surfer is 1, Hitmonkey is 1, Gladiator is 1, Sage is 1. You get the idea. It's stupid power, just make sure Surfer is last. That's it. It's super simple, super strong. If people don't see it coming, it puts up a bajillion power. It looks like complete nonsense, and you will win 8 cubes. It also farms the crap out of bots because you're doing nothing for so long. Cool. Play this list. Love this list. Be happy with this list. After this, we're going to look at GamingwithFlashX, another member of our stream team, his infinite deck with another crazy win rate. But hey, are you going to play Pokemon Pocket, the new Marvel Snap-like Pokemon game that comes out on October 30th and is out now if you live in New Zealand? Please check out our new Pokemon channel. I'm hoping to sometime today, if not worst case tomorrow, have a brand new Pocket meta video. Just all you have to do is type in Pokemon Pulse Glazer. Go give a sub to that channel if you enjoy my content. All right, next up we have Flash's Agent Zoo. This list is really, really cool. It's a Agent Venom Zoo list. Agent Venom works amazingly in this list. It is so strong. Flash absolutely dominated with it. I think this is a real competitor for best Agent Venom home, and props to Flash for coming up with it. Flash has cooked. All right, so you can find Flash streaming at twitch.tv/GamingwithFlashX. He is the same name on YouTube. This deck needs only Agent Venom, so this is super cheap. The next deck we're going to talk about needs like 3 high series cards. This one is just Agent Venom. Spend the $10, you can play this. Service Able can be Rocket or Hawkeye. Marvel Boy can be Kazar. And Kate Bishop can be Angela, a 1, or Shauna the She-Devil. All right, Flash on his way to Infinite went 72% win rate, 34 and 13, set plus 75 cubes. Turn 1, you Bast if Iron Man and Mysterio in hand. That's better than Sable, which is better than Ant-Man. You're fine Squirrel Girling if you know you have Marvel Boy for 3. Turn 2, you play Agent Venom over Dazzler over Kate, and you can snap Agent Venom again. Turn 3 is Marvel Boy, or the earlier plays, and turn 4 is, again, you're mixing and matching earlier turns. Marvel Boy is still fine here with a Squirrel Girl. Turn 5, you want Blue Marvel or Iron Man. If you don't see Blue Marvel or Iron Man, it's hard to win, but either one will do. Turn 6, Blue Marvel or Iron Man, and a 1, or a few 1s in Sage. Either one is fine. Get it? You can just say, okay, I played Blue Marvel, now it's Iron Man and Ant-Man, or you can just play 3 1s and drop Sage on top of them and win that way. Either one works fine. That last one, though, really, really does want Blue Marvel to have been the 5 play. That's it. We're going to take a look at one last Move Professor X deck after this. That's another Agent Venom list, but Agent Venom's not as important in that. And this is a Thing of Beauty. Props to Flash once more. We did that already. That was last week. Week 1 review, Agent Venom. So if you're one of these people and you haven't reached out, reach out, because those are season pass winners. There's also some season pass winners in Sunday's top 5 video. So if you're not sure, make sure you check out all these different season pass winning videos. All right, week 1 review for Agent Venom. This is a 2/4 series 5 unreveals with the Powerball cards in your deck to 4. I think this card is insanely strong. I think that this is an absolute stable and low power decks and has completely shifted the meta because it's so strong. I fully expect this to be nerfed at some point. Its stats, however, have come down in both high infinite and regular infinite. It is mostly dominating pre-infinite, but if you look at the best decks with it, one of which we will feature tomorrow, if you look at the best decks with it, and we feature plenty today as well, then you will see that even in high infinite, this has a really high win rate. In the right shells, this is one of the very best decks. This is a meta warper. I fully expect this to be nerfed, but even at a nerf state, I do not see them killing this card. I think this is a must buy season pass card, and the best in at least a year. This is the best season pass card they've released, I think, since Elsa Bloodstone. So my question is, what should Agent Venom's nerf be? And you could say leave it alone. What do you think Agent Venom's nerf should be? That's the question you answer to try and win a season pass. Cool. Fazzer's Move Beach. This is really, really cool. So Professor X lets you move stuff in and out of that lane, right? So Fazzer was like, why don't I take advantage of that? That's basically the genesis of this list. You can run short on power in this type of list. I was trying to run some Iron Man move stuff last season, and I kept being like, if I don't see the exact right move stuff, Iron Man wasn't really doing enough. But Agent Venom solves that problem. It says if I've got an 8-power Human Torch and then a 4-power Iron Man, I've now got a 24-power lane, and that's usually enough to win that lane, right? Especially if Professor X has locked down another, if you've got a 20-power dagger or another, etc., etc. Really, really cool list. All right, so you do need every high card here. Sorry. You can try Bast for Agent Venom, but I think it's terrible. Honest to God, I don't think it works. But everything else here should be fine. You can find Fazzer on Twitter at twitter.com/FazzerSnap. It'd be nice if he still streamed, but he does not. All right, so Fazzer had a 76% win rate, 38 and 12 with 110 cubes on his way to infinite. Turn 1, you had Anya. Turn 2, Madam Web over Move Torch twice. So if you win at Anya, you can do either the Ghost Spider or Iron Fist Human Torch thing here. Make sure you try and leave them in the same lane so you can beast them later. Or you can set up your Vulture move with, generally speaking, Iron Fist or Anya. Turn 3 is either Vulture move or Hope. Or you can play Torch. You can start to get Torch or Dagger set up. Turn 4, you play on Hope and you set up moves, or you beast back your Torch or Dagger type stuff that you've already moved. Turn 5, you really want a Professor X to lock down a lane. You remember, you don't have to be winning that lane, especially if you have Madam Web out, because you can just toss a card in there at your will. And then turn 6 is last move into Iron Man or set up a huge dagger. The end. Win. Win, win, win. This list is really cool. Props to Fazzer for coming up with the best Professor X list since the nerf. I think that's safe to say. The best Professor X list since his nerf. Move X is here. I'm curious to see if this can be a metaphors. Let's find out together. Questions of the day. We only have 2 today. So our first one is the Mod Supreme models. Asks how I consider undrawn cards in my analysis. So, this is an important note about how I think about life. I don't think anything exists without context. I really, really struggle to evaluate this card as very strong, but the context says it's weak. Everything exists without context. A card is only as good as its decks. Scream right now. We're going to do a last chance review with Scream. Well, I guess we did. I don't know what order I'm posting things in, but I promise it's going to happen. Scream doesn't have a really, really strong deck right now, and thus Scream is a card that I'm not in love with right now, right? If you win 70% of the games when you draw a Scream, and you see Scream in whatever 70% of games, that's a 50% win rate. I think that's valuable in analyzing the card. That means the card is probably not worth having, right? So I think that you have to analyze the card in the context of the deck, and I think you can play things in wrong decks. I think decks can be high skill caps, and that can matter too. So you try and take into account all of this context, but ultimately a card is as good as the best decks it goes in. We do have data mines that will help give us future context. It's considering a lot of different things. Greg is fun. Asks my go-tos when I'm having a bad day, week, month. Well, it's not the show Friends, because sometimes it's even your year. I hate that show. Someone can ask about that if they're interested. But this is important. I do this. Mostly when I'm really, really stressed out, I give myself specific times. I allow myself to sort of mope and feel bad, usually watching TV, but often I'll go driving and listen to music. And I try and limit that to once I'm starting to heal, 10 minutes at a time at first, an hour at a time of genuine feel bad time, where I'm just sort of having feelings, listening to things, feeling bad. Outside of that, I try and keep busy, and my subconscious is really, really good at processing things. So I will dream about it, and as long as I keep busy, I know I'm thinking about it, but I'm also doing other things, so I'm not getting as creamed by it, and it keeps me focused and working. I think a big mistake people make, and I know that this isn't always a choice, but a big mistake people make when bad things happen is they stop their life. instead of like push forward. And I don't mean push forward without any time to heal. I mean you need to also try and keep busy. You can't just mope or just feel bad, or at least in my opinion, that ends up being a trap that leads to spiraling. And what I'm ultimately trying to do in feeling bad is grieve, heal, and avoid spiraling, depending on how bad the thing is. Oh, what is that doing here? That shouldn't be here. Patreon.com/snapjudgments is how you find us if you're interested. I'm going to say thank you to Abigail Giesler, Manager Burnout, Irregardless, David G. Wingfield, Direwolf, LAB, FaThorNewman, Good Dog Gamer, Inc., I Am Frostman, Jay Navreet, Corwin, Prime Brian, and Ryan Burke, Kirtix Lee, Koire, Black Dahlia, Pyrofrost, The Goat Seeker, Denman Falcon, Archangel 3K, Hallowed, Quid Pro Joe, Docty, Fat Nick, Mr. Kerfuffle, Ginger Prime Agent, Philip Rakovich, Haplo, Kenny Loggins of the Danger Zone, Rob Silverman, The Bizza, Notoriously, X-Force V, and Skippy G, Tommy Nyquist, who won Central League Season 1, The King of Bros, The Great Kazoo, Jessica, Gamble, Woody, Kev C. Hoda, Lunacris, Quantum Quinn, John Q, and Jimmy McHugh, Clam, 8th Sage, Mod Supreme Miles, we just saw a question from, Darth Tater, Joe P., Steven, Brian Coffin, Tristan H. Martin, Jason B., who helps us out with our deck archive, Jake D. McDonaldino, The Fuzzy Dollar, Spectrum X, Hoot, Matt H., DJ Mikey, Hijinks, No Flex, Oculars, Craig Sterry, BG, Jonesy, check out the Triple Threat, Two Ties, my former Alliance leader and good friend, the great Lauren Madevs, the Pirate King Tuccrr, the Homie Min, and of course, Gunny T, where the T stands for. Why don't you check out the last 5 decks of last season, y'all? It's right there. Also, Pokemon vid, I'll have the new one in that spot as soon as it's up. Thanks for watching, and peace.